Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth, and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Move your body like a snake, ma.
3, 2, 1.
Who has heard the poem called The Snake? So I have it. Does anybody want to hear it again? You sure? Are you sure? So here it is, The Snake. It's called The Snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. The border. Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I have saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin.
You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
That's why you bullshit.
Fool me once. Shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in.
and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty.
Today's daily random read comes from the book of John, chapter 19, from verses 28 through 37, entitled, Jesus Dies on the Cross. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that the Sabbath day was an high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. And he that saw it bare record, and his record is true. And he knoweth that he saith true, that ye might believe. For these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled. A bone of him shall not be broken. And again another scripture saith, They shall look on him whom they pierced. Once again, this daily random read comes from the book of John, chapter 19, from verses 28 through 37, entitled, Jesus Dies on the Cross. Hello and good evening. Welcome to another episode of my journey with Yah. And it's been a while. I just got out of YouTube jail today. So during that time of being off, I don't know, what was it, like a week, maybe 2 weeks? It was actually 2 weeks when it came to YouTube, but I did continue on with that episode that I was doing last Thursday, I believe. So the funny thing about YouTube was I didn't even do a show. I played in the beginning of the video when I have my logo and I have this thing where it says to support the show, you prayers and whatnot. And then in the background, I have like a red sea and some kind of music that I produced that I'm playing. So that's what I had on for the first 3 minutes, just to wait for people to kind of come in. And as that was playing, my video got cut. And not only that, but I got a strike for it. And according to YouTube standards, they said that it was because spam, quote spam and quote scam. So I tried to appeal it because I told them, I was like, this is what I do all the time. Lo and behold, they did. They denied my appeal. So I said to myself, how am I going to spread the word out? I mean, YouTube is like one of the main places that I go to. It's actually the main place. I mean, there's another platform I go to called Pilled or the Foxhole, which I do get viewers from time to time. And, people donate there too sometimes. But not as much as people here on the YouTube side does. So then I thought to myself, you know what? I have a Rumble account. I have a BitChute account. I have a Spotify account. So I spread those daily random reads to those platforms. And I definitely want to ask you guys, I put my link tree up there. Please give me a follow, because the way that YouTube is going right now, I don't know when, or I don't even know how much longer I'm going to be on YouTube. Just based on me playing an intro, I get strike for a scam or spam. So, I mean, only if you guys want to. But the main thing for my channel here is to definitely spread the word of God. And And of course, if it's impressed upon you to help my ministry grow, and not because I'm trying to gain any financial profit from this. The thing is, I'm trying to spread the word of God, and I'm trying to share with everybody that even as somebody who did not want to have a relationship with Christ, they're still able to. And I really want people to understand that this is a very important thing to have, as far as a relationship with Christ, because if you're not noticing everything that's going on around the world, and I had a thought this morning which made me tear up, to be honest. But before I get to that, I would ask you guys to please support me on Rumble, support me on BitChute, Spotify. Give me a follow there. Subscribe to the channel, whatever you can do, because I really need to get this out, man. God's gospel is not to be kept. It's supposed to be spread out to everybody out there. And I can't do it without the help of you guys. So I'm asking you guys to please, any way you can to give me follows and stuff like that on the other platforms, or even on my social medias, because I post everything there. I post the daily random reads, which now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but now I do videos. Because posting a picture is one thing, but when I get people to come and listen, at least they can listen while they're driving, and it's not even that long. Unfortunately, it's too long for a short, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes I think the longest one I've had so far was like almost a 3-minute random read. But I got to be thorough with those random reads, man. I got to put context into it. So I'm trying to do things different in this channel. And the main thing is, man, I really don't know how much more time we have left in this, just because the way the world is changing very rapidly. And believe me, man, there has been so much things going on this past week. There's a lot of changes going on here. So this is the thought that teared me up this morning. When I was a child, I remember this movie called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it was like one of my favorite movies way back when I was a child. Okay. So I saw this video of a guy who was kind of breaking down the musical put together, how do you say it? The musical arrangement to it in piano. And he was breaking it down. And he was playing the piano and all these things. And I started thinking about how when I was a child, because I grew up in the 80s, I was born in 76. So I grew up in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, but my childhood is solely like, I would say maybe up to like 1990s when I still acted like a little child, watching cartoons and whatnot. So I started tearing up because I said to myself, man, the world that I live in now is nothing compared to how much of the innocence was back when I was a child. And to see, and not to see, but yeah, well, to see, and to see that the children that are growing up now having to go through all these things that are being thrown at them that are so evil. And it's almost as if they're rushing these children to hurry up and grow up. It brought tears to my eyes, man. Because I couldn't believe the difference of the world that it was back then till it was now. And granted, I bet you there were lots of things going on back then. I didn't know because I was a child. I grew up in the 80s. You didn't care much about what was going on around the world. You just wanted to play outside, play some video games, play with your friends. But, It brought tears to my eyes and I said to the Lord, Lord, the innocence of children have been taken away. Especially the parents who want to, quote, gender affirm their children. It's as if almost like they're willingly giving their children to Baal. They're giving their child up to sacrifice. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I do know what to say. I know how to feel about it. But as far as like making some rational thought of it, I don't know what to say about that. This is a completely different world that I live in now. And of course it says in the Bible, right, that the end times will come to be like this. It'll be very wicked towards the end. It's a sad thing. And it all triggered, and it was that song Pure Imagination that triggered everything for me this morning. He was playing that song in piano, and it brought tears to my eyes because I was reminiscing about how my childhood was so innocent and how the children now have to grow up. It's heartbreaking. It's very, very heartbreaking. It's hard for me to think about. Especially I still have a child, you know. I have 2 children. One is grown. He's a grown adult, but the other one, she's 11. And I remember when I was 11 years old, there was still innocence there, you know. But now I have to have these teenage conversations with my daughter. And I have, you know, I'm the type of parent that's very forward. I'm not going to hide anything, you know? And I was hoping to wait a little bit longer so that her mind matures, but at the rate that the world is moving, it's, I have to have these conversations now. Even if she's home, because she is homeschooled, but unfortunately, the neighborhood kids around here, the children around this neighborhood, they all go to public school. And you know what happens in the public school systems. You know what kind of stuff they learn. She's going to be an outcast when she gets older, man. You know? But it's for her own good. It's my duty as a parent to protect my daughter. I'm not gonna hand over my daughter to Baal like a lot of parents are doing to their children by, quote, gender affirming their children. They're making their children make decisions about what they want to be. Isn't that crazy? We're talking about kids that don't even know anything. They don't know anything. But yet, I don't know if it's the laziness of parents. I don't know if it's they're trying to be a hip parent, or they're trying to be more like their friends as opposed to their parents. I really don't know what the deal is. Because I'd be damned to have my daughter partake in that kind of stuff. Nor will I be damned to even stoop down to the level of me being my child's friend. There's just no way. Even if they're grown, there's still gonna be a line in the sand letting them know that I am their parent. I love my children. Even my grown son, he understands, man. He may talk different to me. He may talk to me like an adult, but there's still some kind of respect there that he knows that I'm his father. That's the society we live in, man. Anyhow, so being that I was in YouTube jail for like a week, I continued to make the random read content, threw it out in other platforms like, like I said, the Spotify, Rumble, BitChute, and also Pilled. But I also started changing stuff in my show. And if you were here earlier, the intro is completely different. I still use some of the old stuff there, but I kind of added onto that stuff with music that I produced. Not trying to be boastful, but I am boastful because it's my creation, man. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me see what's going on in the chats here. Want to say good evening to Cynthia Ava. Yeah, as far as that, as far as that little poem that Trump read, I don't know, man. A lot of people like the guy. I'm not saying that I don't like the guy. I'll be honest. I don't like any politician. I don't care who they are. For years and years and years, I've given so much of my energy to the whole political thing. I've given so much of myself that I could have, instead of giving myself to these people or to politics or whatever you want to call it, I should have given more of myself to the Lord. I should have paid more reverence to him as opposed to these politicians who continuously say things, quote, promise things, but never follow through with their promises, right? And I think with that guy, the guy who I put the video about, he promised to arrest Hillary Clinton and it never happened. They're all the same, man. They all make these promises and they never follow through with their promises. Never. Never. They tell you what you want to hear to get you to vote for, to get you to expend your energy into the beast system, right? Because that's what it is. That's, this is typically what it is. It's a beast system. And when you're distracted with these things, you forget God because you're so focused on the world. I had to learn the hard way to not put my focus in this dying world, and it is dying. It is dying. It's sad. Let's see. Good evening, Rain. First time I've seen you around. Thank you for being here. Nancy M, thank you for being here. Cynthia Alva says, great intro. Thank you so much. Yeah, when you're in YouTube jail, you kind of find things to you find ways to kind of improve. Well, I was trying to find ways to improve this channel, and I hope I did it right. But I'm always gonna try to make something different around here. I've been lazy. I've been too lazy for a long time to put my energy into this ministry because this is what it is now. This place used to be a quote virtual bar where I talked about nothing but politics, but this is not the place for it anymore. It had its place, and this is a place of fellowship now. I do have another show called Go Back to Sleep where we kind of talk about the music industry with a co-host of mine, Java. And I haven't been doing that show lately because I'm in the middle of rebranding that show. Like, I'm trying to make I've got a new intro. I produced a new song for it, but now I'm having to put a video together for it. And finding ideas to match the track, it's hard for me, I guess you could say I'm in the stage of having creator's block right now. But usually that show would be on a Sunday, 5:00 p.m. Central Time, usually on Sundays. But lately, I haven't had it because, like I said, I'm in the middle of kind of trying to rebrand that show. I have a new track for it, and I'm trying to figure out how to make a video collage on top of that track. And it's been hard. It's been hard to think about things, but I got, I'm using these tools now to kind of make the artwork more easier to do, but just the ideas, it's hard to come up with sometimes. When it comes to music, ideas for me it's a lot more easier than it is when it comes to visuals. Visuals are hard for me to do, but sound for me is easy. It comes easy because, I'm a DJ, and there's certain sounds that I like, and I can kind of go from there. But when it comes to visual stuff, it becomes a challenge, especially when you're trying to match it to what, how the beat sounds. So, anyhow, let's see. I'm just reading the chats here real quick. Nancy M says, did you say you're on Rumble? I don't see it on the link tree. It should be on the link tree. It should be on the link tree. If not, let me see if I can pull my channel up here real quick. Give me a minute. As I'm typing this here. Okay. All right, I'm going to drop it on the chats here. Nancy M says, I'm definitely grateful I don't have children of my own, but I pray for the children nevertheless. Cynthia Alpha says, I am concerned for all the children, young and old. Heartbreaking. Nancy M says, I was forbidden to speak to my nieces anymore because their dad thinks I'm too religious. Man, I'll say this, man. I don't like the word religion or religious because having a relationship with Christ has nothing to do with religion. It's a relationship. It's just like a relationship you have with somebody. The only difference is you're actually having a relationship with the Creator. There's nothing religious about having a relationship with Christ. He saved us. Per my random read today, He died for us. Right? And to those people who think that we're too religious, they obviously can't see what's going on around the world. I've said this many times before, and it really bothers me when people think that way because, you see, I didn't want to have a relationship with Christ. I never did. I never wanted to have a relationship with Christ. I didn't care about it. The only thing I cared about was myself, my family, right? Making all this money and just enjoying my life and being happy. It's all about being happy, right? It's all about being happy. It's all I thought about prior to me having this relationship with Christ. Being involved with trying to plant my roots in the world. But God did something to me. He put me in my place. He said to me, oh, you love the world, huh? I'm going to show you how the world is. And then from there, you tell me if the world loves you more than I love you. So He put me in my place. Gone to that situation at work. Less than a handful of people reached out to me. Not that I was expecting anything from my coworkers, but at least to say, hey, is everything okay? Nothing. Even some of the people that I thought were close to me, they didn't even reach out. Nothing. Not even a text message. Not even a, hey, I'm just texting you to see if everything's okay. Nothing. There were I want to say 4 people that reached out to me from work. Two of which that I didn't even expect to reach out. So you want to talk about being too religious? Well, when God puts you in a situation where you have nothing, not even friends, I guess in your words, you would say, yeah, I would get religious. But it's not religious. It's having a relationship with Christ. It's what it is. I mean, what's so bad about that? There is so much bad right now that's what more we need more. We need more of a relationship with Christ than ever. We need more of a relationship with Christ than ever. Just this past week, the world has been changing rapidly. Rapidly. This is crazy, man. And to those people who think that Christ followers are too religious, you obviously can't see what's going on around the world or around you. So it's their loss. I mean, I'll do my best I can to spread the gospel to them. Even so as subtle as I can. But if they don't receive it, then they don't receive it. There's nothing else I can do. I can't force them. You know? Christ is giving us, he's died for us for, to have free will. He's given us free will. And if people don't want to take advantage of that free will to at least meet God halfway, to having a relationship and finding more about him, as opposed to just saying things, then that's going to be on them. There will be a time. There will be a time, and I'll pull it up in scriptures, man. Just so you know that it ain't my words, but it's God's words here. Okay? Let me pull this up here real quick. Let me look for it. Scriptures. Okay, I'm searching up here scriptures to stop praying for people. Not that I don't want to pray for people, because I still pray for people every day. But there is going to be a day. There's going to be a time. There's going to be a time where it's over. Probation's done. God's not taking applications anymore, man. There's going to be a time. And I'm going to show it to you right here. All right, let me close this out. Check this out. This is KJV. And I'm going to start this from verse 13 all the way to 16. So this comes out of the book of Jeremiah. Let me just blow this up so that people can see. Because Lord knows that my eyes are getting bad. I guess it's a part of being old, right? Smaller. Okay. So from Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 13 through 16. And now, because ye have done all these works, saith the Lord, I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye not heard. You hear that? No pun intended, but do you hear that? And I called you, but ye answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the place which I give to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Check this out. Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. That's clear. That's very clear in scriptures, man. And this is the reason why a lot of believers tell non-believers, or even people who are on the fence, that it's important to have this relationship with Christ, man. There's only so much time, and there's only so many times that we can tell you these things. But there will be a time where God's just going to say, you know what? We've done our best. I've given all the time. I've given them all these chances, but yet they fail. Look, man, I'm not saying that I'm righteous. I'm not saying that I'm sinless, because I'm still full of sin. And I say this all the time on my streams. I'm full of fault. The only difference is I go to Christ every day and I ask him to work with me, because I can't do it. I'm of the flesh. We are all of the flesh. We're all going to sin no matter what. But if we have that faith in Christ and we have that relationship with Christ, we believe. And when you sin, you feel, if you've repented and you have faith and you have this relationship with Christ, right? You have this guilt every time you sin. You catch yourself too. You hold yourself accountable is what it is. That's what happens. Because I can tell you right now, before me even getting into this thing, this relationship with Christ, I didn't care about the sins I committed. I committed in and I committed more. I said, you know what? This feels good. I'm enjoying this. Let me do some more of it. It's not like that anymore with me, man. I feel guilty for the sins that I commit. I catch myself. I hold myself accountable. And that's the difference. That's the difference. And I beg God every day when I pray, when I ask for forgiveness, to give me that strength, because I can't do this on my own. He's the one who gives me more of the strength than I do, you know? So, you know, when you have a discussion with somebody, you bring up to them Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 16 and see what they say after that. If they're on the fence. If it's a non-believer, of course they're not gonna receive that message. But you give this to somebody on the fence, and they'll be thinking about that. They'll be thinking about this verse right here, man. You know, in the beginning, I didn't want to believe that God would turn his back. But it's right here in scriptures, man. It's right here, God's word. I'm going to repeat it again. Therefore, pray thou, I can't even read. Therefore, isn't it amazing how I do the random reads just smoothly, but then when it comes to this, I can't do it. Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. That's crazy. One of my biggest fears, and I know I've shared this with so many people before, that my biggest fear is to hear God say to me in judgment is something to the effect of something I knew about. I knew you not. Depart from me, I knew you not. That's to me, that's one of my biggest fears. All right, let me continue on here. I apologize because it's been a while since I done a live stream. Kind of rusty here, but back in the saddle, man. Let me continue on here. Cynthia says, yes, I'm grateful for your ministry here. I feel less alone in the world. Still no church to attend in person, just online. Don't feel discouraged, and I appreciate the fact that you're grateful for this place here. I try to make this the best ministry I can. I'm not all knowledgeable. I'm still in my journey trying to learn at the same time, but just know that you're not alone. Because I feel the same way too. My church is online. My church, we do Zoom meets for our church because my pastor lives up in Canada. I'm in Texas, so I'm like way in the bottom of him. But nonetheless, I try to attend every Sabbath as much as I can. But unfortunately, me with my business as a DJ, most of my events come on Saturdays. But I try my best, man. I do. The Saturdays that I do have off, I'm in worship though. Let's see. Nancy M says, I understand that no one reaches out to me, not even immediate family. Don't feel alone, man, because I'll tell you right now, I walk a lonely path when it comes to being a believer in this household. I do. But I pray for it every day. I pray that they walk with me. Or at least they'll get to a point where they'll soften their hearts. Because it's my responsibility, right? God's going to hold me accountable to that when judgment comes. So I pray about it, and I try to talk about it once in a while, interject some stuff in there subtly, but we shall see what happens. Let's see. The Most High says, I shall never leave you nor forsake you. So I rest in his world. Amen to that. Amen to that. Cynthia says, my brother has drifted off. I haven't heard from him in months. My daughter's side of the family will never call me unless I call them first. I keep to myself now. I won't do all the work anymore. Don't give up, though. Keep on praying. And hey, even if you have to initiate the reach out, just do it. Just do it. Let's see. That scripture prevents me from praying for celebs. Oh, man. Hey, what's going on? Everybody hates Raymond. How you been? Very careful whom you ask to pray for you and whom you pray for. Be wary of praying for anyone when you don't know what their objectives are. Maybe they are encountering resistance for a good reason. That's hard for me because I pray for everybody, even for people I don't know. But I put them in general prayers, I put them in general prayers. What's going on, Flatlined? That's a fact. Don't just let anyone pray for you. You never know what they truly believe. Okay. Everybody hates Raymond says, stop trying to save the world and just point out who did. Well, that's a good point. That's what the still small voice said to me. Let their ignorance be the bed they have made. Oh, man. You know what? That brings up a good... Hold on. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this. Let me pull this up. This is a good one right here for that. Here we go. Yo. So I was talking about this last week. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk about it here on YouTube because I got canceled. Because YouTube loves to cancel people, especially for us who are using the beast system against the beast, right? Because I think YouTube is the beast system. Hey, what's going on, Woke One on the pilled foxhole side? Hopefully you're still there. If not, thank you for tapping in. So check this out. Check this out, man. Let me bring this up here. So this one is Romans. What chapter is this? Romans chapter 1. Okay? Let's read this. I was talking about this last week. Like I said, not on YouTube because YouTube canceled me out, but I was on other platforms talking about this. It says here, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Yo, if this doesn't tell you that all these things are happening right now, I don't know what to say. I was talking about this because it was on my mind. It was actually bugging me because of the things that I've been watching, the things that I've been seeing on the videos with culture. And it seems to me that, especially with these teenagers and these young adults, that they're doing these things, man. And I think at this point, God is just saying, you know what? I'm going to give them to their own reprobate mind. And that's what God did with a lot of people. He did that with Nebuchadnezzar, right? He did that in the days of old with all the people. He let them go do what they wanted to do. I mean, he still does, right? It's still the whole thing with free will. But man, it seems that it's a lot more aggressive now, you know? It seems very aggressive now that people just don't have self-control, man. It's almost as if a spirit is controlling them. And it's a familiar spirit, if you know what I mean. It's not the Spirit of God. You know, with the Spirit of God, you have self-control. But if you're given to a familiar spirit, this is exactly what happens to you, man. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, man. We see these people post these things on their own profiles, right? TikTok videos, Instagram, OnlyFans, YouTube. I mean, they do this to themselves. And here's the weird thing. People will pay for that. They enjoy it. Even with this whole weird thing with NPCs that they're just acting totally weird, probably possessed. I don't know. But people are paying these people to act in such ways. Or paying for sexual content as well. The flesh is so wicked, man. And this is what happens. This is what happens when there's no relationship with Christ. People are going to be given to their own reprobate mind, and that's all from free will. They willingly, and you know, I really don't want to say things like this, but people will willingly, the majority of people will willingly follow the devil. They're going to march in with the devil charging, you know, going to be in front of the line, and people are going to willingly go ahead and follow the devil because they don't want to have to go through the long suffering of this journey with God. This is a journey, man. It's a step-by-step journey. There are many times you take 3 steps back and 1 step forward. But the point is, you keep on going forward, man. Thing with a lot of people, the majority of people, they don't even want to go through this thing. They want things easy. They want things conveniently. And I think having all these devices or these things that, for example, like Amazon, where you just get things right away, I think that's a conditioning that's making people not having the patience to go through a struggle, especially struggles of life. People don't want to go through a struggle of life, which I don't understand at all, because going through a struggle in life builds up good stuff in you. It teaches you about yourself, about what your weaknesses are. Makes you a smarter person to go through struggle. If you try to avoid struggle your whole life and you finally hit struggle when you're older, it's hard to deal with struggles when you're older because you have a set way of thinking. You know? Let's see here. Flatline says, that's my biggest fear. Depart from me. I knew you not. Yeah, that, see, I'm not the only one who has that fear, man. That is the biggest fear that I have. It's not the fear of dying. It's not the fear of losing my house, or it's not the fear of anything like that. It's the fear of God saying to me, like, who are you? I don't know who you are. I'm going to cast you to hell because I don't know who you are. That right there is a fear of mine, man. I don't ever want to hear that. Cynthia Alva says, fellowship is so necessary and appreciated. Thank you so much. Yes, it is. It is necessary. The importance of fellowship is that we're here to let other people, especially those people who don't have a church to go to or a group of friends that they can go to. Because for me, I've met a very few people who I can actually talk openly about Christ, you know? Matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, was it a couple weeks ago? Yeah, it must have been a couple weeks ago. I had a gig, and the person who owned the venue, she's a believer, man. And I had a great conversation with her. We hit it off really good. You know, we had a great conversation. I felt her spiritual energy as well. It was very uplifting. So, you know, it's the fellowships are very needed, especially now. You know, during these times, it's going to get harder for a believer. We're going to be cut off. If it's not having a platform like YouTube, they're going to eventually cut people like me off. Because they don't want God's word getting out there. So, yes, fellowship is needed. If you can physically fellowship with people, that's even better. But if this is the only means you got, then this is the only means you got. Because for me, this is the only means I got too. You know? Everybody Hates Raymond says, good luck finding a palatable church. Start now. Could take a while. Here, well, I would say this, though. I would say this. If you're going to go look for a church, you want to look for a church that went against the government in 2020. That's a good filter, right? That's a good way to start off of finding a good church right there. If they went against what the government told them to do, you know that they're a grounded church. So I would say start off with that, you know? But good luck with that, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of churches out there who stood their ground during 2020, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Everybody Hates Raymond says, worn a device pulpit once, then a second time. After that have nothing to do with them. For sure, they are self-condemned. You know what's in people's hearts that you pray that pray for you. I do not, nor do I know what is in what is in the heart of those who pray for me. That's true. It's very true. We don't know. The only reason I said it is because you're reading a piece of scripture that addressed that exact scenario. What's going on, Axiom? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. All right. What's going on, Takirika? Nice to see you out there. Thank you for being here. Flatline says, sowed my seeds. I'm exhausted trying. It's up to him to water them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Trust me. I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Let's see. Rain says, did I find you from Days or Spiritual Logic's channel? I will keep tuning in. Perfect video. It could have been either one. I do mod for both channels. But I have to give credit where credit is due, because without Spiritual Hulk, my channel wouldn't have grown to have, the followers that I do have now. It's because of him. He allowed me to drop my link out there, and thank God that I was able to find a channel like his, and it's no accident. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that God leads us in he gives us these choices of doors to pick from. He may hint to you which one he's at, but ultimately we get to choose what door we go through. And I think through the glory of God, he was able to point me out to Hulk's channel. So I'm very grateful for that. And because I found Hulk's channel, he said, hey, if you have a channel, go ahead and post it out there. He let me do it, and that's how I got followers on YouTube. But I'm grateful for the Lord to lead me to him, and I'm also glad and grateful to Hulk for allowing me to share my channel. I do believe that having multiple places of fellowship is very, I think it's important. It's hard to find somebody out there that gives you a message without a filter. I don't filter my messages, and not only that, but I always revert back to scriptures. And I've talked about this many times before, about these preachers who tell people what they want to hear. I do the opposite. I share my experiences of God convicting me, putting me to shame, embarrassing me, and I share that experience because I think people need that. They need to be shown who their wicked side, who their wicked self is. Because without that, how do you know? How am I trying to say this? How can you ever get humbled if God doesn't show you who you are, and if you can't see who you are? Because when I saw who I was, when he showed me the mirror, I felt so ashamed. I felt that I wasn't even deserving of coming to Christ. But lucky for me, I have a good pastor, and he told me, you got to get past that, because if you feel that you don't deserve Christ, then what makes the death of Christ then? A vain thing? So I had to swallow that up and say, you're right. He died for me, and I'm claiming that. And I'm always going to shout that out to everybody out there, that you got to claim that. You got to grab that. He's given his life for you. So you always want to claim that every single time you can. God loves his children, man. And when the time comes for his second coming, he definitely will give you a heads up. It's true that we don't know the day or time as he comes as like a thief in the night. That's true. But you also got to remember that during the days of Moses, he gave them a heads up. He gave the Israelites a heads up. What did he tell Moses to tell his people? Make sure you put the lamb's blood on your doorpost so that your children don't get killed, right? He gave them a heads up. He gave Noah a heads up too. So he's always, God never changes. He's always going to give his children a heads up. The only way you're ever going to understand the communication of God is if you have a personal relationship. And man, if people don't have that relationship, how can you have a spiritual eye? How can you have a spiritual ear if you don't know how to communicate with God? Or even how are you even going to able to recognize who God is if you don't have a relationship? You know, that's all that I'm saying. Even though he says in scripture that he comes like a thief in the night, that we don't know the day or time, he's definitely going to let us know. He's let his children know in the days of old, and I'm pretty sure he's going to let us know. And right now, the warnings that we're seeing in a small community like ours, we see the same thing. We see through all the BS of the politicians, and we see this whole world is a spiritual battlefield. It's what it is. It's what we see, because I know this because I talk to a lot of you guys out there on other people's channels, on the chats. We recognize that this whole world has become a spiritual battlefield. And even the things that we hear are spiritual things. The sweetness of the lips of the snake, just like the video that I played earlier, man. He's got a lot of people believing everything he's saying, man. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm a absolute Trump hater, but I will say I'm a politician hater, because they all lie. All of them do. They're all the same. They're all snakes, man. All of them are snakes. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm just reading the chats here, man. It's moving. Nancy M says, I gotta go. Thank you. Oh, thank you for, you're probably gone by now, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you tapping in. Thank you, and I hope I see you again. Axiom, there he goes, man. Romans 5:3. But we also glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance. Yep. Absolutely, man. I mean, how else do you get your armor of God stronger? You need to test out your armor every once in a while and part of that is going through the struggles, man. That's how it gets stronger. Let's see. So everybody hates Raymond says, do not pray for this people, nor offer any plea or petition for them. Do not plead with them, for I will not listen to you. That's what I read. Brain says Freemasons and evil people controlling it all. Yeah, I would even go further and say that is Satan. It's Satan, man. Satan's at the top of that pyramid. He's the eye in that pyramid. He's the one. But yeah, you're right. The Freemasons are just they're just the dominions of Satan. That's all that they are. You know? This is a beast system we live. The whole world is in a beast system. You know what I mean? Flatline says, checked out several nearby buildings made by man's hands. Just not for me. Yes, Flatline. Unplug him says, just go and pray with the people. Let's see. Yeah, you know, Brother Theo is wise, man. He's a wise man. You can tell that he's been through a lot in his life. And it's amazing to hear his testimony about him being humbled. That's an amazing thing, because not a lot of people they don't allow that. They don't have that. They don't allow themselves to be that vulnerable, to be humbled. Not a lot of people are like that. So when I hear something like that from him, it's like, wow, man, that's good. You know, it's a blessing that people are able to recognize when God gives them the mirror of themselves and they see that, and then the person who sees it recognizes it. That's a big deal, man. And I think that if you go through something like that, that I think that's where your relationship starts. Because when you repent and when you have faith, you always revert back to that time where you were at, where God was showing you the mirror of yourself, and you're reminded about the person that you were and the person that you don't want to be. So I like hearing Brother Theo talking about how he became humbled with all the knowledge that he had, and then recognizing that God was talking to him. So big ups to Brother Theo. Unplug him. Yeah, I haven't seen Hulk live in a minute too. I mean, he's been pushing out stuff, but I haven't seen him live in a minute too. I wonder if he's probably going through something, because I know that they're having storms around that area. So it's, I don't know, maybe he's busy with that too. I think he has some stuff going on in his house as well. All right. Hey, what's going on, Nana P? Nice to see you. I'm glad that you made it. I remember you were asking me when I was gonna go on live at night. Well, hopefully this is late enough. But I'm just glad you're here. Let's see. If I'm quiet, it's because I'm reading the chats here real quick. Let's see. Nana P started detoxing as soon as I started detoxing as soon as I got home. Okay, you're talking to Everybody Hates Raymond. Everybody Hates Raymond says, I found Days first, then Brother Theo, then Hulk, then Uncool, and Speak, and Axiom. Look at that, man. Thank you for that. Not a Piece says they've got a huge Freemason lodge in Anchorage. That's where you're at right now, huh? You just recently went to Alaska. That's right. I was a bit taken aback, but not surprised. Even my third day road trip there was one in every state. Yeah. I mean, look. Let's be honest about this, man. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're in every walk of life. They're in every walk of life. Oh, okay. I don't want to get sidetracked here because I've been probably an hour at this already. But I do want to ask the community for something, a big favor here. Okay? Because as you know, or may not know, I don't know if I mentioned this. Both my children right now, they're in Japan, to go visit their grandparents. Okay. I just learned today that China and Russia sent warships in the sea, around the sea of around Japan. So I don't know where this is going to go. I really don't know. I do know that North Korea has been firing missiles in Japan for the past, I don't know, few months already. And I'm humbly asking you guys to just, when you guys have your daily prayers, to include my children. You know, I couldn't believe what I heard earlier. This is like an hour before me going live here today, that I had just found out that there are ships, warships, okay? Not just regular ships, military warships from China and Russia sailing around the waters of Japan. And my children are in Japan right now. We're in very, very sensitive times right now, okay? The beginning of the week, Russia had struck Ukraine really hard, like one of the biggest airstrikes. They had one of the biggest airstrikes. Not to mention that this country, the U.S., I don't know if anybody follows like flight patterns of the military planes here, but there have been doomsday planes flying around the U.S. And I think there are other planes up there that are not normal. So, and this is one of the reasons why I posted a picture of the red horse probably like a few days ago on my social media. And that's why I said something to the effect of, I think the red horse is looming around or lurking around or something to that effect. So we're definitely living in a very, very, this is a very sensitive time, man. And, you know, I don't like to bring up bad stuff, but sometimes these things need to be faced, right? We need to face these things sometimes. But even the stories that I'm hearing in Hawaii with Maui, not necessarily on how the fire started, but the after effects of what's going on there, and also the behind the scenes stories of the purpose of that fire. I was hearing a lot of things about that stuff, and man, these people who we call them elites, these people have no soul. They have no souls, man. These are the times that we're living in right now. With that going on, the whole Maui incident, the whole Ukraine and Russia thing that's going on out there overseas, there's ships by Japan. There's a hurricane called Hillary by California. I don't even know if the fires in Canada is still going on, but that's a concern too, right? And then we got more. I think we got more storms brewing down south here. Not just on the West Coast, but I think there's some around maybe the Florida area. I don't know. But there's just so many multiple things going, man. There's so many things going on here. All at the same time. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be focused on the wrong thing right now. The focus still needs to be on Christ. Because no man can save us. If you walk the same path as I do, if you walk the same journey as I do, I think you understand that there is no man that can save. Christ came down already to save us. Sometimes my patience gets tested because of this journey. But I have to tell myself all the time that no, you need to keep on walking no matter what. Your focus needs to be on Christ, because if it's not, you're going to be part of this world. And you're going to be left here with this dying world if you don't keep your focus, your relationship with Christ. So I know you guys out there see the same things I do. I know you guys out there hear the same things I do, because our eyes and our ears, they're not worldly eyes nor worldly ears. Having this communion with Christ, He's given us this gift of the sight and the hearing. And it becomes difficult, especially when your family members are involved and stuff like that. But keep your focus, man. It's hard. It's hard. Everything is being thrown at us, man. I'm also hearing about look, I don't know a lot about a lot of things as far as like when it comes to economics. I don't know anything that's going on. Well, I wouldn't say anything, but I do know that they're trying to change the whole financial system, right? I think that is also a factor in this whole changing of things, because I've heard that Russia's economy right now is not doing well, and I'm even hearing that China's economy is not doing well. And if that happens, the leaders of those countries are going to act in desperation. But I don't know, man. I mean, they're all connected in some way, somehow, right? But what do I know? I'm just a guy behind the mic, tries to spread the gospel of the Lord to everybody out there. But I also notice these things that are going on. They're moves. Could it be just posturing? I don't know. It doesn't matter, though, because actual strikes have already happened. Let's see what's going on here on the chats. But I really would appreciate some prayers for my children, because I'm worried. My children are across the world in another country, man. And I trust my in-laws. I love my in-laws. And my in-laws love my children. I even told my son, like, you better protect your sister with everything. Like, you better, that's your duty. So I know my children are in good hands, and I know my daughter's in good hands. You know, not that I'm not saying that I don't care about my son, but he's a grown adult. He should be able to step up and be a man when it's time to become a man. So 3%. I mean, you go plug that thing. Let's see. Rain says, I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years. I'm 20. She was always loyal to me. And when we were best friends, I proposed to her. I went through her phone and oh, man. Sorry to hear that, man. But you know what? I would say this. Maybe that was a good thing. I would say that. Maybe that was a good thing. At least you found out now rather than later when you're already married. So I would say, since you're 20, you still got a whole life ahead of you. You know? Hopefully God has mercy on us to give us more time here, but at least you're able to see the truth now. I would say that's a good thing, rather than seeing it after you're married. So there's different ways you can look at it, but the way I look at it is that God gave you he gave you a heads up, man. Like I said, he always gives his people a heads up. It doesn't matter what kind of situation it is, he gives you a heads up. That's just that's the Father that we have, man. He looks out after us. Even if it's something hard for us to take in, he gives us he definitely gave me the heads up when it came to politics. He gave me the heads up big time. Because that costed me my reputation in police work. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Flatline. Yeah, prayers up for my children. Thank you. Everybody hates Raymond says, yeah, it's not a good time to be gallivanting. Yeah, I agree. I would try to get them home as soon as possible. They're supposed to be coming back next week. So, because look, I was kind of iffy about that too. I said, are you sure you guys want to travel right now? That's what I told my wife, and I got it whispered because she's like right there. I said, hey, Do you think that's a wise thing to do, to travel with things that are going on right now? But they had to use their flight credits that they because they had flight credits from 2020, so they had to use it before they lost it, you know. But I have faith that God is going to protect them. I do have faith that God's going to protect them. He's looked out after me throughout my whole life, and he hasn't let me down. Matter of fact, I was just thinking about this one, because today I went, okay. Sometimes when you're reminded about something, it comes in the most obscure way. So today I went to go get a haircut, right? And what I do is I get a razor fade, which means, you know, I'm like skin on my head. So as the lady was, you know, she's using a straight blade to cut the rest of my hair off my head, because, you know, I'm going skin tight, whatever you call it. There's a big lump on the back of my head, and you know, while she was cutting, and she was going over the lump on the back of my head. I got that lump in the back of my head because of a bicycle accident that I had. I want to say I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I remember this like it was yesterday. But I was riding. I guess I was playing chase or something like that with my friends, and I was riding my bicycle. I hit the brakes real hard, and it was pedal brakes. I hit the brakes real hard, and it was gravelly. The ground was gravelly, and I fell backwards, and I hit my head on the concrete, and I hit it hard. And I said to myself, as she was cutting that, as she was shaving the hair off of the back of my head, I said to myself, this is in my brain, I was saying, God has been protecting me since I was a child. Because the accident from that, I didn't even go to the hospital. I didn't even tell my parents that happened to me. And you would think that you need to go to the hospital because it's a head injury, and you got blood clot going on in the back of your head. You can die, right? But I'm stupid at 9 years old. You're not thinking about that kind of stuff. And, you know, the first thing I did was I got myself up. I went back home. Put an ice pack, put it in the back of my head. And I never told my parents. I never told my parents about that accident. Even till now, I still haven't told my mom. I haven't told her anything about that injury in the back of my head. But I'm thinking, as she was, you know, cutting my hair, I said, man, God has been protecting me since I was a child. And fast forward to now, and now I understand why. Because he has planned this a long time ago for me to spread his word. Because I can recall 2 other times where I almost died. I can recall 2 more other times where I almost died. But for some odd reason, man, I'm here. The second time was a scary one, man. Actually, the last 2 times were scary. Actually, any kind of near-death experience is kind of scary, but the second time, I was surfing. Because I grew up in an island. I grew up in Guam. And it wasn't even a big day or anything. But if you surf, if you know something about surfing, if you know a thing or two about surfing, there's these sets that are called a freak set. It could be so calm, and then all of a sudden a big wave just comes out of nowhere. And I think I was 18 years old at the time. And the place that I went to go surf at, if something happened to you, no one would know. And the reef there is killer too. Anyhow, so it was only my friend and I. It was a really nice day. No storms, no nothing. So here I am waiting for a set to come in. And I see from a distance, I see a set coming in it's bigger than usual. So I'm paddling out. Because I am trying to get over that set. Because I don't want to, I don't want to get crushed by the rip curl of the wave. I don't want to be in the bottom of that wave, so I'm trying to paddle my way out. So here I am paddling out, and the set peaked. Okay, it peaked. The wave peaked to its height, and as stupid me, what I should have done was get off my board and go under the wave, but that's not what I did. I was saying to myself, no, I can beat this wave. I can beat this wave. So here I am paddling out. I get to the top of that wave, right? And as soon as the wave starts peeling, which means it starts to break. As soon as it starts to break, I'm at the tip of I'm at like on the top of the wave, and I get sucked in by the undertow. Okay? Which means I'm at the top, and as the wave is breaking, I get sucked under. And I don't know how long I was underwater, because I was trying to resurface up after being sucked in, and I was in panic mode. Initially, there's nothing you can do. It's like the feeling of, imagine yourself inside a dryer, right? In a washer, in a dryer. And I'm tumbling, and you can't fight it. You kind of have to just go with it. Anyhow, I try to resurface up, but as soon as I do, another big wave just hits down, and I said to myself, "Oh man, this is it. This is it, man. I'm gonna die surfing." But for some odd reason, man, like I said, I don't know how long I was underwater for. Probably more than a minute. I felt this rush of just pushing me upward. I felt like I was being boosted upward, like something pushed me up. Not by pressure, but like something holding me and pushing me upward. And as soon as I surfaced the water, it was calm. So I said, man, I'm lucky. I didn't even thank God, because that's not what was on my mind. I wasn't even thinking about that. Not until years passed when I started realizing, like, oh man, that was a near-death experience. I think God was looking out for me. This is when I was a non-believer, when I actually accepted that God had saved me from that. But that was the second time I experienced near-death experience. And looking back now, I'm like, man, I truly believe that He's been looking out for me, because He knew that I would come to this where I needed to spread His word, and I'm not trying to say that I'm some kind of chosen prophet or anything like that, because I'm not. I can't predict the future, nor do I even want to have anything like that. But I would say that there are things in my life that has happened to me to become more of a believer to Christ, because He's done a lot for me. He's done a lot, keeping me alive. He still wakes me up. Axiom says, we'll lift you and your family up in prayer for safety, that the Lord shroud them in His mighty grace and be upon them until a safe return to the States, brother. Thank you so much, Axiom. I appreciate that, man. I really do. And honestly, man, although I'm very worried, my faith is what's keeping me right now. My faith is keeping me sane right now. I do worry about my children, man. As a parent, and I'm pretty sure if you're a parent out there, you understand that we don't bury our children. Our children bury us. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, I'm worried, but at the same time, my faith is not gonna I'm gonna have more faith. Yeah. Let's see. What's going on, Tree Gamble? Nice to see you. God bless you and thank you for being here. Christina Murphy's in the house. What's going on? Thank you for being here too. Man, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here, man. It's such a blessing. It is such a blessing, man. Flatline says, I'm very lucky. You darn right I'm lucky, man. Like I said, dude, I had it in my mind already, and I was 18 years old. When you're 18, you don't care about what danger is. You just do it, right? That's one thing about being young, is that you're more bold than you are when you're older. Because I couldn't do like a lot of the things I used to do when I was younger, I could not do it now because I just don't have that. I don't have that in me. Yeah, man. I remember it, and I said I was already okay with it. That's the weird thing about it. I was like, all right, man, I guess this is it. This is it. No family, no kids, no nothing. And this is gonna be my life. But through God's grace, man, He pushed me out of the water, man. He pushed me out, and He gave me life again. And I'm very lucky, for one, and I'm very grateful. And this is one of the reasons why. When I have these fellowships, I always tell everybody, like, look, man, you're lucky that you wake up in the morning. You need to thank God for that, because He's the one who blows down that breath of life to you. You know? So that's the first thing I thank God for. Because that's the biggest gift He's given to me, is allowing me to wake up. Of course, He, it doesn't need to be said that I'm grateful for Him dying for my sins, but to allow me to wake up to another day, every day, that is a gift that's given to me every day. Because I'm allowed to see my family. He's given me another day to do things like this, like fellowship with you guys. And I know how difficult it is to find places to fellowship with people. I trust me, I know the difficulties. I do feel alone. And sometimes I find myself trying to find people online. Like, I want to find somebody who's going on live, who has the same belief system as I do. So I totally understand it, and that's why I'm very, very grateful that He's blessed me every day that He gives me. He blesses me. I even thank Him for waking up my family, that they're able to wake up to see me. Let's see. What's going on? Waiting for the King of Kings? Nice to see you here. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names that I see in other people's chats, which is great. So it's awesome to see all the people that I've built. I guess you can say I kind of built a relationship with a lot of you guys through fellowship. I'm very grateful to see a lot of you guys. So as you know, I've been in. I'm gonna repeat this again because I need help as far as, like, I don't know how much longer I'll be on YouTube. If YouTube strikes me because I play my intro before my intro, and I try to appeal it, and they still strike me down and deny my appeal, I really don't, honestly, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here on YouTube. So I'm going to put my Rumble link. But, to be honest, man, Rumble's cool, But the problem with Rumble is you have to have a certain amount of followers, and you got to pay to stream, to do live streams on Rumble. You got to pay. And I don't want to ask people for donations. You know, I put it out there if people want to. It's up to them. Oh, and by the way, little plug for my shop, my merch store. I did push out new shirts and drinkware. If anybody's interested, you don't have to. But I put out the new logo as a shirt. And matter of fact, you know what? This is what I'll do. I'll show you guys the merch store real quick. And I'm not trying to sell anything to you guys, but I'm just telling you like what I have here. Okay? Just showing you what I got. Let's see here. Man, I'm trying to. Okay, hold on for a moment. Let me show you guys what I got here. And like I said, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, but I am just showing you what I have as an option to help this ministry out. Okay. Let me share this with you guys. Okay, there we go. So, I got coffee mugs, I got t-shirts. That's the new logo right there. And then on the newer shirts, like for this one, for example, I put there Galatians 4:16. I am therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth. So that's one of the stuff that you can get over there. And if you look up here, there's a discount coupon code for 20% off, and the coupon code is right there. So I'm just sharing that with you guys. If you know, if you want to come over and support me in any way you can. Of course, I'm not pushing it on you, because this place is not a place for me to make a buck from God's name. But if I'm going to expand to other places like Rumble, I have to pay for that. And to be quite honest, I don't have the funds to be paying for other platforms in order for me to stream out there. But if I get kicked out of YouTube, then there's, you know, I can always make another channel, but it wouldn't be this channel. So just thought I'd share that. So yeah, this, you know, okay, so this channel is registered as an LLC because before I thought about doing a ministry for this, and shout out to Chris Clay, because he's the one who kind of said, hey, you're doing ministry work. And I had to think about that. I'm like, you know, you're right. But prior to me being a ministry, I was talking about like politics and stuff. So that's why I did an LLC, thinking that, oh, I'm going to be really popular. But no, that wasn't the case at all. Now I'm here doing ministry work, and I you know, I'm not expecting people to throw any financial stuff at me. It's just a way for people to help the ministry help itself, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I'm not here to earn a buck. God is the one who's blessed me to know how to DJ. That's how I earn my living. But, you know, if I'm going to get kicked out of YouTube, I need other places to go in order for me to keep on spreading the word. YouTube is a great platform. The problem with that is we're using the beast system against the beast. And it's just a matter of time that a lot of us that spread God's word, it's going to be a matter of time where we're going to get cut out. So, you know, I just ask for, you know, if I want to continue to do this, and even if I get cut off from YouTube, I want to be able to go to other places where people are able to listen. And I do have a BitChute. I do have Rumble. I also have a Spotify. I'll just drop my link tree. It has everything there in the link tree. I'm not even asking for like paid subscriptions or anything. All I'm just asking is you guys follow me. That's all. Follow me. And, you know, if it comes to the point where I can't do fellowships here anymore, at least I'll be in another place. So I just ask for you to give me thumbs up, follow, repost, share the streams. That's all. That's all. All right. So I've been at this almost 2 hours here. Let's go ahead and go to scriptures, guys, because wait, you know what? There is something else that I wanted to share. There's actually something else I wanted to share. And let me share this article about the warships in the Japanese seas. And I'm not trying to do any news here, but I'm just letting you guys know that the red horse is lurking, man. The red horse is definitely lurking. Let me go back here. So I'm going to read this article real quick. And I hate to be, I hate doing current events. But when we have to sound the horn to warn people, if we have to be the watchman for the world, to the believers, then we have to be a watchman. And sharing this article with you guys is definitely being a watchman here. So this comes from thediplomat.com. This was just like a few days ago, August 15th. Article reads, Chinese and Russian warships step up activity in straits around Japan. Japan defined its territorial seas as extending 12 nautical miles seaward. With the enactment of the Act on Territorial Sea and Contagious Zone in 1977. However, there are still several sea areas where the breadth of territorial waters is 3 nautical miles, which are called as, quote, specified sea areas. In its appendix, the Act refers to the definition of an international strait. In the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, when limiting the breadth of the territorial waters of Soya Strait, Tsugaru Strait, Tsushima Strait, East Channel, Tsushima Strait, West Channel, Osumi Strait, to 3 nautical miles, leaving high seas at the center of these straits. In doing so, it avoids the application in these straits of the transit regime adopted by the UNCLOS. The UNCLOS has recognized a right of transit passage for foreign vessels and aircrafts to be able to exercise, quote, freedom of navigation and overflight solely for the purpose of continuous and expeditious transit of the international straits that connect international seas or exclusive economic zones with other high seas or EEZs. Although vessels navigating international straits are required to comply with certain rules established by the states bordering straits, freedom of navigation is guaranteed. And unlike territorial seas, navigation is not subject to the condition of innocent passage. As an example regarding specified sea areas between October 18th and 23, 2021, a total of 10 Chinese and Russian ships entered Tsugaru Strait from the Sea of Japan, navigated the high seas portion of the strait, headed south in the Pacific Ocean, navigated near the Izu Islands, navigated the high seas portion of Osumi Strait, and headed toward the East China Sea. A ship-based helicopter takeoff and landing exercise was conducted in the sea areas around the Izu Islands and in the East China Sea. This was the first time that China and Russia had jointly conducted such a large-scale, long-running operations in the sea around Japan. If the Japanese government were to extend the breadth of its territorial seas of the specified sea areas from 3 nautical miles to 12 nautical miles, all the straits would be Japanese territorial sea, and foreign vessels would be able to exercise the rights of transit passage since they would be regarded as international straits under international law. Even if the specified sea areas are converted to international straits, this would not change the fact that foreign vessels could navigate them. But once they have become international straits, Japan, as a state bordering international straits, would be able to demand that foreign vessels conduct, quote, continuous and rapid transit. You know, in a nutshell, man, they're provoking Japan, man. They're provoking Japan. Japan and China, in history, they just never had great relationships. And I believe Japan and Russia were also enemies at one point. So I just wanted to kind of share that to show people that, hey, the red horse is definitely lurking around, man. And I'm not trying to be a bearer of any kind of bad news because it's not what it's about. But if you're going to have the spiritual eye to see, then you have to see the things that you don't want to see, right? And okay, here's another thing that I wanted to share too. And this is something that's going on in this is something that's going on in Maui as well. Okay? We're going through some messed up times, man. We really are. Hold on for a moment. Let me share this with you. So I'm going to share this video. Where is that? Oh, here. So I guess these people are trying to, they're at a donation spot or something. They're trying to get the supplies that they need. You may not seen this video yet, but I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it.
Crazy.
Give me a minute here. So I don't think I have the volume up here, but let me share this with you guys. Let me just adjust that here. All right, check this out.
I've just been informed that we are shutting down.
Spoke with the.
I've just been informed that we are shutting down this placard distribution as of now. Please. There are powers that be. I'm not sure of the reasoning. All I know is the order has come down to shut down the distribution of these placards.
All right, did you hear what he said? He said there are powers that be. There are orders that came down, powers that be that ordered us to shut this down. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Even the coppers are admitting the powers that be. Crazy. But you know, I saw this kind of stuff coming, man. And this is one of the reasons why I had to leave police work, man. Because I knew that there was going to be a time where I had to choose between the people and my principles. And I don't want to be put in that position. I'm glad that God caught me at the right time, at the right place. He made things happen at the right time because these days that we're living in right now, man, even the cops in a lot of these liberal cities that the crime is just going amok, they're not even doing their jobs, man. And I don't want to be put in that position. I don't care how much you can give me $1 million. I still wouldn't do something that's out of principle. It's crazy, man. Look, you know, when I was a cop, I was making good money, man. 6 figures. I had an abundance of money. But now, because I chose to live a humble life, to focus more of my time with my family and with Christ. I don't make that much, which is I'm okay with that. At least it's less pressure out of my head, you know. But at least I still have my soul, man. I don't have to make those stupid decisions about taking orders. Because I already knew. I saw things like this coming. Man, the cops in California can't even do their jobs anymore. Or let alone in other cities like Chicago. I've seen videos of chaos in New York, and New York PD can't even do anything. I seen them. I seen the videos. I wanted to make sure that I had a soul. I wanted to make sure that when it came to my day of judgment, when it came to judgment, that I was able to stand firm into what I had to say to God and answer for the wrongs that I've done, and answer, I wanted to give him answers without having any kind of guilt or shame. Oh, yeah, granted, there are sins that there are still sins that I'm very ashamed of, even to this day. But I'm not going to compromise my job and my paycheck over people's over people. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather struggle financially. I'd rather be going through what I'm going through right now financially than to have to choose between my paycheck and my job over people. And how are they going to be treated? It's crazy, man. Like I said, God got me at the right time. He got me at the right place, the right time. Without those experiences and without me turning towards Christ, I wouldn't have this relationship or this fellowship with you guys. I'd still be the same sinful cop that I was. Selfish, not caring about my salvation. Wouldn't care about being saved or not because I was already okay with going to hell. Let's see what's going on here in the chats real quick. Let's see. Everybody Hates Raymond says the black horse, and upon it, its rider who has the power to make men slay each other. The black horse is the famine horse, isn't it? I think there's multiple types of famine going on. I'm a very firm believer in the thirst for the holy water, which is part of being in famine, right? I believe that there's so many people who are thirsty, but refuse to drink out of the cup of the Lord, which I think is it's a spiritual famine. And also, I think there's famines going on too with the food shortages and the food shortages that are about to happen. Because it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. Let's see. Flatline says, better be careful, Strikey. Yeah, I know. That's what Yankee Tango likes to do, man. Let's get them Bible believers. Let's give them strikes for scams. Oh, man. If you haven't liked, shared, subscribed yet, please do so. It'll definitely help me out here. Christina Murphy says, I saw the video. The only thing that bugs me these days is we don't know who has put audio or video. We don't know what's... I have to agree with you on that. There are these things that are called deep fakes too. So you're right. You're right about that. I have heard they were turning people away. I've been looking for first-hand accounts online. Yeah, me too. I've been trying to dig into that too because I've heard that the locals are the ones who are giving stuff to the people out there. And I don't know about you guys, but I've heard bad things about the Red Cross as well. Like, they're not to be trusted. So when it comes to organizations, I mean, we've all seen what happened with the whole everything was exposed back during the 2016, 2017, where, like, for example, the Clinton Foundation was kind of exposed about Haiti, about, it's supposed to be for rebuilding Haiti, but they're using that as, you know what they're using it for. So I don't have any kind of trust for any of these organizations as well. I do trust the locals more than I do trust those big organizations. And I've even heard that locals are having a hard time getting in to the areas to go and give them the supplies because they're not through big organizations. It's crazy what's going on out there, man. It's heartbreaking. It's crazy that their own government is doing that to their own people, man. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's exactly this is how the whole beast system is built. Let's see. Hold on. Cynthia says, wow, that much is a cut. Well, you got to consider, because I used to live in California, and the cost of living in California is higher, so of course the pay for cops is going to be higher out there. So yeah. Because, like I said, and not only that, but I was doing the job for like almost 15 years, so I kind of built up to that. Oh, you were a cop too? Everybody hates Raymond. 6 figures as a cop. I guess I got out of the game too soon. Yeah, I was making 6 figures. That's with no overtime. But when I was doing, because I used to work a lot of overtime, man. And I've shared this before. I've worked so much overtime before that it destroyed my family. Well, it almost destroyed my family. It destroyed me. Because I distanced myself out of, it kind of put a distance between me and my family. I didn't spend a lot of time with my family because I was working so much. And having to have a life that I have now is a very big difference, man. I'm home, and I work on this stuff a lot, this channel, also with DJing and stuff. It's a different type of busy, not as busy as I was as a cop, but definitely I get to pace myself, man. And I do find myself talking to God a lot because I have the time. And I think that's one of the biggest things too, is having that time to talk to God, because, man, I used to work the night shift, and I worked night shift for like years. I'm talking about, I would say 95% of the time that I worked as a cop was all night shift. And there was no time. If I had time, I was sleeping. So there was just no time. Now I have time, and I commune with God multiple times a day. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to not only spend time with my family and work on the things that I enjoy to work on. This channel is one of them. This channel is one of the projects that I try to improve every time I get. And also doing the whole DJ bit, man, because I do the whole thing with the DJ bit. Not only do I DJ, but I also chase leads. I do sales calls. I do follow-up calls. I organize events. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we do as DJs that people don't see. Matter of fact, I got an event tomorrow. Luckily, I had time to prepare for that a week in advance. So I'm set to go, ready to do my event tomorrow. And it's a lot less stressful too. It's a lot less stressful, and God has been good. God has been good as far as the type of people that we've been able to serve. There's only one incident that I had that I thought I was going to be like, oh man, the old me is going to have to come out, man. There's only one event, but luckily I think God intervened and nothing bad happened. But so far I've been blessed, man. I've been lucky to to cater to people who are good. Well, you know what I mean by good, not trouble. Let's see. Nope, I was not in blues. I was wearing greens, man. I was sheriff's department right here, man. You know what they say about deputy sheriffs, man? We're in between cops and criminals. That was the running joke, man. The difference between cops and deputies, or city police and deputies, is that deputies are in between. It's a joke. Because, you know, deputies, they work the jails too. So deputies are in between cops and criminals. Yep, we're being tested for sure, Flatline. Yeah, we are. Prepared myself for a lifetime of service. I was burnt out by the time I could become a commissioned officer. I saw more stuff in 7 years as an explorer cadet than I care to remember. Well, I'll tell you what, man. When my first couple years, first off, I started that job when I was 31. So I was already, my mindset was already, I wasn't really naive, you know? But I learned real quick that it's a very cliquey kind of job. And I never wanted to belong to any kind of clique. I never went out of my way to join a group of guys. I was never that type of person, and I never will be that type of person. But I learned real quick that it's a very cliquey kind of job, and you know, sometimes you're given certain things to do to kind of prove yourself. And depending on what you do, you're either accepted or you're not. And that's just the way I see it. You know? Never a cliquey kind of person, never will be. I think God designed me that way on purpose. He really did. Because I was like that in high school too. Nope, not even sergeant, not even close. You know what my goal was when I was a deputy? You know what my goal was? My goal was to become a canine handler, man. But just like everything, when there's a special assignment that you want to do, you gotta. See, I was about to revert to words that was the old me. What you got to do is you got to kiss butt. You know, you got to appease to the people who hold the keys to that door. And I never was that type of person, nor do I ever want to be that type of person, because I don't want to have to owe anybody at the end of the day. The only person that I hold things to is myself. And I don't want to have to owe anybody. So that's probably why I didn't get far at all. I did not get far. There you go. You said it. You took the words right out of my mouth. You basically only get promoted to the next degree unless, you know. Yep. But like I said, I think God got me out at the right time. He definitely made things happen for me to make me get out of that job. I'm not going to lie about that. Looking at it in hindsight now, and especially in the times that we're living in right now, he's definitely snatched me out of that job for a particular reason. And, you know, honestly, I'm not trying to say that I'm prideful or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that there's more of a purpose for me doing fellowships than doing that type of job. You know, I got really jaded from that job really early, man. I think 3 or 4 years into the job, I started getting jaded. And I think a part of that too was me being older. I wasn't naive to things. But after that the first 3 or 4 years, man, can you imagine just doing what I got to do and just get out? You know? This, on the other hand, the fellowships, like when I'm creating like videos for the fellowship, like for this channel, I try to give my best into this. Not because I try to pump myself up. This is the way I think about it. And I'll even give you a little behind the scenes about what my thought process is and how this thing goes for the whole daily random read stuff that I started doing for videos. Because it's not easy. I'm telling you, man, as much as I don't know if people enjoy it, but I enjoy doing it. The finished product I enjoy. But I got to tell you, man, the random reads that I do every day, and this is every day. I started doing this, 2 weeks ago? And I love it. The only problem is it takes multiple takes because I don't edit. I read that thing. I read the scriptures throughout one shot. I read it out. But there's so many takes that I do to perfect that. Not because to make myself look good, but my thinking process is if God is willing to give his best to me, that I'm willing to give my best to him. And that's all that I can do. That's the least that I can do. That's why when it comes to man, and I get frustrated, I get mad because I'm reading and I stumble and I erase, I start all over again. I erase the file and redo it. It's difficult. It tests my patience. But I do it because somebody out there needs to hear some type of message. That message needs to be delivered to somebody. And I don't do it for a vain reason for me to look cool or sound cool or whatever. I want to be able to put my heart into what God has allowed me to do for him. If God gives his son to me, that means God has given his best to me. And the least that, even though my works don't matter, the least that I can do is to at least give the best of me back to him. That's the least I can do. And I know I'm a sinner and all, and I'm not trying to say that my works are going to get me up to heaven. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to something that I'm doing for God. If God gives his absolute best to me, why not give it back to him at my absolute best, even though I'm full of flaws? So I just want you guys to know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It gets frustrating. Like today, oh my gosh, man. Today, it was a simple read. But man, it took me like an hour. It took me an hour. Okay? Maybe 45 minutes, but definitely at the most an hour. It took me an hour. And I was like, Lord, I love you. And I'm glad that you're making me do this because this is a way to build my patience up as well. But when I continuously have to retake, and like I said, I don't edit. I don't edit, man. I read it. I power through that thing. I read it all the way with no edits, man. The only editing that I do is adding the music and putting the fade in and fade out of the video itself. That's the only editing I do. The read, it's not cut up. It's not chopped up. The read is the read. I read it all the way. And what I'm trying to say is that it's work. Okay? And I'm not complaining. Well, I want you guys to know that I'm putting my best here. Not because I'm trying to be boastful of what I'm doing. And I hope that the message that I'm trying to say to you guys out there is that because God has given his best to us, and I know our works won't get us anywhere. I understand that. But the least that you can do is give your best back to him. It's the least we can do. On top of being faithful to him, having faith, repenting from our sins, having a relationship with him, in any kind of skill that he's given you, any kind of talent he's given you, the least you can do is give the best of that to him. I'm not trying to preach a works-based gospel here, okay? I'm just trying to say that that's the least we can do. You know? I love God so much that even though I know my works are not going to get me, my works are not going to prove anything to him, the least I can do if I'm spreading his word is to give my best to that, to present it the best way I can, the best possible way that I can. You know? So, and I would say this. Those are the fruits. Those are the fruits of having the faith. Those are the fruits of having the faith, because when you have that faith, you have that relationship, you want to be able to give Christ your best. And that's what, a lot of people, they miss that. They totally miss that. They don't understand that when you start having this relationship, you start transforming yourself, you start changing. Because you want to be able to live the same way Christ did. And that shows when you do something, when you say something, right? It's the fruits that come, that's from Christ's seed planted in you, blossoming out as the fruits of his work. All right. Okay. Let me go ahead and close it out with some scripture here, okay? Oh, geez. Let me close that out with some scriptures here. I believe the last time we were reading scriptures was Genesis, the book of Genesis. And if you're still with me, I thank you. Thank you for hanging out here. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. Everybody hates Raymond and Flatline. Thank you for being there still. I don't know if anybody else is still out there, but if you are, thank you. Thank you. Let's see who I want to thank. Flatlined, Christina Murphy. Everybody hates Raymond. I know Cynthia Ava was there. Nana P was out there. Who else? Axiom Descent. Waiting for the King of Kings. Sorry, I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read who was here. Let's see. Nancy M was here. Rain was here. And I thank you guys. I thank you guys for hanging out here. I really do. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So let's go tap this out with the book of Genesis here. Because part of this place is that we're going to go read through the Bible, man. Every time I'm on live, we're going to go, even if it's chapter by chapter, we're going to go. We're going to do it. Okay, here we go. So hopefully you guys got your KJVs with you. Oh, and also I want to thank Woke One out on the Foxhole side. And if there's anybody, I mean, I see that there's a couple people there, but if you're not saying anything, I don't know if you're there, if you're a real person or not. But thank you for being there nonetheless. Let me see on the other platforms. Nobody on Twitch. I'm checking the other platforms right now too. Facebook, there's nobody. And Twitter is nobody. All right. Let me go back here real quick. All right. So let's go ahead and read this. If you have your actual Bible books in your hand, your physical Bible, please use that more often than you use it as often as you can. I know we live in a digital time now, but for me, I still use the book. I still hold the book in my hand and I still read it. So I would say that, hey, we don't know when this whole digital stuff is going to be disappearing, so you might as well be used to reading it in your book. So then when it's time for you to flip where you need to flip, you can find it. Start training yourself to use the book. So let's go here. Genesis chapter 38 from verse 1. And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare her a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Shizib when he bare him. And Judah took a wife from for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. Wow. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. Man, you learn something all the time, man. I didn't know how. This is deep stuff, man. This is deep stuff. God actually slew somebody, man. And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place. which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw the Shelah, she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. These names are killing me. I apologize, man. I'm butchering these names. I know. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it to her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid her veil from her, and put on her garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after, that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter in thy law hath played the harlot, and also behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signets, and the bracelets, and the staff? And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been seen more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound up his hand in a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. I'm stuttering, guys. I'm struggling today. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out, and she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward came out his brother, and had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. All right. We'll save 39 for the next time. But I really, really appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much for sticking around if you have still stuck around. I really thank you. I really, really do. I was really looking forward to coming on today, man. I had so many things to say that I wanted to share with everybody. And also, man, it seems like every week, things just keep getting validated by Scripture. Every single week, something tops off another thing. Keep on praying, guys. Keep on strengthening your relationship with Christ. These are the times. There is no time to be on the fence at this point. there really isn't any more time to be on the fence. And as God said in the book of Jeremiah, you know, there's going to be a time that the prayers are going to stop. So this is not the time to be messing around, thinking that you know, God's always going to be there, because he's probably not going to always be there. I'll read that scripture again. Let me see if I have it here. I'll read that scripture one more time. I'll put it up on the screen, just so you know it's not my words, but it's God's words. Once again, Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 16 reads, "Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee." Yo, these words is just as scary as "Depart from me, I knew you not." Those are words of death. These are not the times to be screwing around thinking that some dude is going to save you. Because the truth of the matter is, that dude that you think is going to save you is probably part of the whole distraction of everything that's going on. You don't think that it's on purpose that they're highlighting his indictment while not reporting on the ships going sailing in the Japanese waters and one of the biggest airstrikes that Ukraine had? You think that's on purpose, that they're highlighting that instead of things that are going on across the world? Things across the world affects us just as much as it affects that place over there. Everything is connected here, man. Even the person that you think is going to save you, he's part of the beast system. They're all part of the beast system. They all put into that beast system. They're all little parts of the beast system. We don't have time to be screwing around. We really don't. Well, I really want to thank you guys once again. And always remember this. We got to lift each other up, man. We really got to lift each other up. And I realize that it's getting more difficult and difficult every single day. Because it's always something. It's always something that affects us. You know? Don't let your heart wax cold because of the things that are going on. But just understand that there will be a time that God is going to tell us don't even bother. You're just wasting your time. There's going to be a time of that. And that's very sad. That's very unfortunate. There's only so much God can take from evil that he's going to have to put his foot down and say no more. There's only so much that he's going to take. He's an all-loving God, but people tend to forget he's a just God as well. He's a very just God. The more you keep testing him, the harder he's going to come down. So with that, always remember to lift each other up. And there's many ways we can do that. Feed those who are hungry. Give water to those who thirst. Clothe the people who need the clothes, who are naked. Talk to those who are lonely. But most of all, even though I just read that, since we have some time left, pray. Pray for them. Especially the people that you know. The people that you know have some kind of glimmer of hope and chance. Pray for them. Pray for them. Tell them, be saved today. Don't wait. So with that, guys, God bless you guys. You guys have a great Sabbath tomorrow. And I guess I'll catch you whenever I catch you, yeah? No more exit lines for me. This is no longer a bar. So you guys have a blessed day. And I thank you once again. And once again, if you can follow me in the other platforms, please, I need your help in the other platforms. And I'll drop my link tree. I will drop my link tree to the other places that I need help at. I need the follows, man, because I don't know how much longer I'll be in Yankee Tango, man. Yankee Tango it's a beast. It's a beast system. I mean, everywhere else is too, but I appreciate your follows and likes and shares and subscriptions or whatever you can do to help this place out, to keep on pushing out God's word. You guys have a blessed night, and I'll see you next time. God bless you guys.